Yo, what is going on YouTube? We're back with another video. In this video, I want to break down the 5 steps you need to start losing 20 to 30 pounds within the next 3 months, as well as putting on 15 to 20 pounds of lean muscle mass. And before we get into the video, just know you're going to have to implement each and every one of these steps because a lot of people just try to do one, two, three, and they don't see the results and then they give up. And if you're serious about achieving your ideal physique this summer, it's almost June now, bro. I've been telling you guys you need to get the ball rolling, but it's never too late. If you truly want within the next couple months to start seeing visible progress and have the best physique that you could accomplish within the next couple months, so you're at the beach feeling your best, having the confidence, then stay all the way to the end because it's not going to make any sense if you just take some of the elements. You have to apply all 5 principles. And I'm actually doing a 5-day challenge for people that click the link in the bio and book in a free call. And I'll walk you through what the challenge looks like and all that shit. So first and foremost, who is this for? This is for men that are motivated. I'm not I'm not working with you, bro, if you're a crybaby. I've worked with people in the past that expect that, joining a program, they're just gonna get results. And it's funny because I've joined plenty of coaching programs myself. And when I first joined, I remember thinking the same thing. I joined the program, I paid the money, I'm in there, I'm going to get results. And guess what happened is I got a reality slap to the face. You will not get results unless you implement this stuff, bro. And working with any coach, you're not going to get any sort of results unless you actually implement. A lot of people just consume information and they don't apply it. So if you're serious about getting to the other side, dropping 20 to 30 pounds of body fat and putting on 15 to 20 pounds of lean muscle within the next 3 months, then this video is for you. Because in as little as 90 days, you can be in a completely different position, not just with your health, your physique, and the way you look, but most importantly, the way you feel about yourself, the way you carry yourself. People think that having a physique is just a tangible thing that looks cool. Like, bro, no, it literally will change every area of your life if you let it. But first, you have to do the work. In order to do the work, you have to know what work to do. So this is the work. Stay to the end because we're going to drop it down. It's going to be a quick video. Here's the sauce. So for those of you guys that don't know who I am, my name is John Stroud. I am the creator of the Achieve Your Ideal Physique coaching program, and I've helped plenty of men achieve their ideal physique, just that, right? So putting on 20 to 30 pounds of body fat, I'm sorry, we don't want that. Losing 20 to 30 pounds of body fat or putting on 15 to 20 pounds of muscle, that's what I specialize in. And the nice thing is, when you're focusing on building muscle, you're going to be able to lose fat simultaneously. It's going to speed up the amount of calories your body burns at rest every day. And so stay to the end because this video is for you. If you're motivated, you have to be between the ages of like 25 to 45. Not that I don't help people outside of there. I can give you some general tips, but that's just who I specialize in helping, right? So if you're between ages of 25 to 45, you're not going to be a crybaby and complain about not getting results from the work that you didn't do, then this video is for you. So what are those 5 steps and how can you actually get into the best shape of your life before summer ends? Because we all know it's about to be June. Summer is already starting. There's probably a lot of you guys that are, maybe you're working towards some goals. Maybe you have been slacking off for a bit. But let's be honest, right? Let's look to the end of August. Wouldn't it be worth it to still be in great shape come August, September, as the summer is wrapping up? And throughout the summer, develop the habits to be able to implement this for the rest of your life and stay in shape year round? Wouldn't that be better than just giving up on your goals and saying, hey, it's already June, summer already started, I might as well stop? Right. Personally, like I used to always have this mindset when I was growing up, lifting weights of like, oh, I'm going to start doing crunches, cutting out the junk food and staying consistent with my nutrition. So I'm started by the summertime, right at the beach. And then March would come, April would come, May would come, June would come. And I always had this mindset of like, oh crap, like I didn't stay consistent the past couple months and now it's already midsummer. Like there's no point. And when I started to realize that like some progress is better than no progress. Having half of the summer to be shredded is way better than being out of shape the whole summer. So this video is for you if you fall in that category. Now, those 5 steps, right? What actually do you need to do to get into the best shape of your life and achieve the physique that you want? Losing 30 pounds, putting on 20 pounds, maybe even putting on more muscle mass than that, depending on how hard you work. You just need to master these 5 habits and implement them and get feedback, right? So first and foremost, let's actually talk about nutrition. People think that like cutting out food is the easiest way to lose weight, and it's true, right? You will lose some weight the first week or two when you cut food out, especially if you massively restrict your calories. But the thing is, it's not sustainable, and you know that. That's why you're watching this video, because you've been trying to find solutions to your problems and you just haven't seen tangible results that you feel content with. Because let's be honest, like dropping your calories, cutting out all the junk food, like you're gonna make some progress, but you're gonna eventually go back to the other side and have all these cravings and start overeating, and you're gonna probably put on more weight than you are currently at now. So first and foremost, like let's look at a sustainable approach. What can we do to actually start doing this for the rest of our life? Because would you rather be in pretty good shape and have some guidelines you follow for the rest of your life that are easy and sustainable to stick with? Or would you rather have this extreme, drastic approach where maybe you make some progress, but then you put all the way back on? Like, it's for nothing, bro. So, what can you actually do? First and foremost, like, let's realize that implementing the right amount of protein is going to drastically cut cravings from your diet. So, you eating all this crappy food, you eating fried foods, processed foods, it's not the problem. The problem is you're doing it too frequently. You can have food, bro. And as a matter of fact, when I was at the best shape of my life, right, I was literally at 4.5% body fat. You don't have to believe me. Just go on my Instagram and check out some of my profile pictures or some of my pictures. I went on an in-body scanner, which is somewhat accurate, but I went into the gold standard test, which is a DEXA scan. I did a couple of those when I was working for somebody that owned a DEXA Fit business, and it showed me like 4.5%. I went up to like 7%, and I hovered in between those ballparks for like 6 months, right? And now, like, how can you actually get to a position where you're able to do the same? Like, you have to realize, like I said, it's a sustainable approach. It's something you can stick with. Because that summer, I was eating probably fast food once or twice a week. I was eating, junk food, going out, drinking beer and stuff like once in a while. But I was still staying locked in, and I was still shredded to the absolute bone. And why was it? It's because I was eating the right amount of foods. I wasn't worrying about cutting out the bad foods. I was eating more of the better foods. And as a byproduct, I barely wanted those crappier items, right? Those poor quality choices. And even when I did have them, my body was so primed, my metabolism was spot on, that I was able to have that balance that all of us watching this video want. You don't want to have to cut out a burger, a fry, French fries, whatever. You don't have to cut out sweets for the rest of your life. So why not be able to eat that stuff and not do it like all the time, but not really prefer it, right? When I was, you know, eating this sort of food, I realized like I don't even want that anymore. Like my body is so primed and my metabolism is so efficient now that I actually prefer the quality foods, and that's what allowed me to stay in shape for such a good time, right? The reason I said I was 4.5 to 7.5% body fat was like I truly don't know my body fat percentage. I'll just be straight up with you guys. I haven't taken a test in a while. Usually speaking, though, I hover between like 8 and 15% body fat. When I'm really locked in, it's down to single-digit body fat, and you can do the exact same. So when it comes to eating the right amount of protein, you need to realize that in order to optimize muscle growth, you need at a bare minimum 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So what that means is if you're 200 pounds, you need 200 grams of protein. If you're 150 pounds, you need 150 grams of protein. If you're 300 pounds, you should probably aim for almost 300 grams. And maybe you don't need that much, but at least aim for it. This is what my clients inside the Achieve Your Ideal Physique program do. They aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight at a bare minimum. And if they don't hit it, they're close enough. But being close enough is better than not having any strategy, not having any plan. So the benefit of eating all that protein is going to fuel new muscle growth. That's the most important thing, because if you can build new muscle mass tissue on your body is going to speed up the caloric expenditure, which means your body's going to burn rapidly more calories at rest. Like me sitting here right now, I'm burning so many more calories than I was years ago when I didn't have a lot of muscle mass in my frame, because I've realized that it's almost like this autopilot thing. Your body is burning calories on autopilot. So instead of focusing on trying to cut your calories down and restrict them that way, which is not sustainable and it's not enjoyable and you won't stick with it long term, eat more protein and build more muscle mass, and then you can offset the amount of calories you actually have to restrict. One of my clients, for example, right now, we just upped his calories from like 1,900 calories to 3,100 calories. And his biggest fear was like, oh, I'm going to put fat on. And it's funny because literally he's been in the program for 2 weeks. And from week 1 to week 2, we saw not much progress. I'm going to be honest, it takes some time. But from the second to the third week, we did the check-in photos. His abs are so much more visible. And he's starting to see like the muscle definition he wants. His chest, his arms, his shoulders. And it's literally because he was not eating enough protein. And he wasn't getting himself enough calories to fuel new muscle growth. So if you're eating enough protein, not only are you going to burn more calories at rest, but also you're going to cut out massively the amount of cravings that you have, because with protein, it has a satiating effect on your body, which just means that having all this extra protein in your bloodstream, you're going to have a nice steady blood sugar level. And what that means is your blood sugar steady, consistent. You're not going to have like, oh, these up and down spikes, these roller coasters, like I need more food, bro, like I need something, like I'm craving whatever. It's like, okay, I'm eating quality protein throughout the day, every single day. My body doesn't have to depend on, eating these excess calories. I don't have the cravings. So that's the first thing. Now, if you're eating more protein, you're naturally, as a byproduct, not going to have the cravings for additional sweets, carbohydrates, fats, whatever. And carbs and fats aren't bad. You need them in your diet. But if your protein is on point and you're eating enough, if not more than enough, it's just going to decrease and decrease and decrease the cravings you have, which will lead to you not eating near as much of the junk food and not even wanting to in the first place. It's the best feeling in the world when you realize that I prefer ground chicken, or I prefer a steak, or I prefer a burger than the pizza, because it literally doesn't fill me up and I feel like crap afterwards. And you won't ever get to that point until you start to eat enough protein, because your body's going to just take care of that part. So that's the first thing, is eating enough protein. Like I said, bare minimum is 1 gram of pound per pound of body weight. Clients all the time will ask me, like, what happens if I eat over that amount of protein? What happens if I eat too much protein? Is that a bad thing? And if you want to be extreme, 400 grams of protein, like, yeah, that might not be the best for you. You might not need that much, but the likelihood of you actually eating that much is going to be very low, because it's so filling. You literally, it's like, think about Thanksgiving, bro. The last time you ate all this turkey, all this meat, like, you don't have as much craving for the pies, the desserts, and the potatoes and stuff, right? So now, that's like at a bare minimum. If you eat 1.5 grams, 2 grams per pound of body weight, so say you're 300 pounds, you eating 450 grams, probably don't need it, right? Start with a gram. But if you're on the lower side of the weight, right, so maybe you're 180 pounds, you could definitely get away with eating 250, maybe 270 grams, and you'll get leaner, leaner, and leaner. So eat enough protein, and first and foremost, realize that yes, quality foods are best. Chicken, fish, steak, eggs, grains, like these are going to be great. Dairy product is good for some people, but just because you're not able to always eat the perfect type of protein doesn't mean you should just not eat the protein. Okay, go for a protein bar, protein cereal. Like these, they make a lot of supplements, a lot of food. They literally have protein chips. You can do so much. But if you're not eating any protein, you're better off eating some of these like protein snacks and some of these maybe not quality options than you are eating no protein at all. So ideally, yes, you want to be eating the quality foods, the wholesome organic options, but realize you can have a balance. You can get protein yogurt, you can do these sorts of things and still get by. So figure out what's the best, most sustainable approach. So for me, that might look like 70 to 80% of my overall nutrition throughout the day coming from things like eggs, fish, chicken, ground turkey, ground beef, steak, bison, right? If you're not hip to bison, get hip. It's quality. And then the other 20 to 30% is coming from protein bars, protein shakes, a little bit from cheese, dairy products, yogurt, etc. Right? Protein coffee, bro. They have so many options that you don't have any excuses. That's the first thing. Eat enough protein. When you're doing that, it's going to be a world of a difference between the results you see. The second thing that you need to focus on is where your calories are. So if you're eating enough protein and you're understanding that protein plus carbs plus fats equals your overall calories, right? They're broken down into those three major macronutrient compartments. If you're eating, 200 grams of protein, realize that there's 4 calories per gram of protein. So if you're eating 200 grams of protein, you're already consuming 800 calories, and that's assuming that you don't have, any fat in the protein. You're eating all lean sources, right? So you're gonna have so many, not just like you're gonna cut out the cravings, but you're gonna have so many calories already in your system that you're not gonna feel hungry for all this other stuff, right? So that's the first and foremost thing. And then like when it comes to calories, like if you start to realize that like, hey, I'm putting on too much weight, then you just drop the calories back a little bit, but at least the calories you are eating are filling you up and sustaining you. So that's something to know is like eating enough protein is going to carry over and make it a lot easier for you to understand like how many calories you need and also how to stay in the ballpark without overeating. Now, when you realize like okay, protein and calories are on point, now you can start to look at carbs and fats. Typically speaking, if you want to reduce body fat to stay lean, you want to make sure that you don't have carbs and fats both high. And why is that? Two reasons. One, fats are going to be a lot higher in calories than carbs and protein. So carbs are also going to have 4 grams of calories. Or I'm sorry, carbs are also going to have 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate, which means that yes, protein and calories each have the same number of calories per serving size. But the thing is, the protein is going to have a lot more of a satiating effect. It's going to have a lot more nutrients that go to your bloodstream, whereas the carbohydrates, they're supposed to be used as a rapid energy source. So if you're not using them for energy, you're going to feel more cravings. And if you are using them for energy, just know you're not going to be sustained, so you're going to feel hungrier later. So protein and carbs, yes, they have the same amount of calories per gram, but the protein is a lot more quality and more nutrient dense than the carbohydrates. And now that's the problem with carbohydrates. They're not bad, but they're not going to give you near the same amount of benefits as their protein would. And so, knowing that, you want to choose, do you want to have higher carbs in your diet with the high protein and medium to lower fats? Or do you want to have higher protein with medium to higher fats and lower carbs? You can do it either way, and a lot of people have preferences. But the thing is, the other problem with the fats is fats are going to have 9 calories per gram, meaning that for the same amount of quantity, like the same amount of serving size of fats, they're going to have more than double the amount of calories. So that's going to put you over your calorie limit, right? Like if, for example, you're eating 100 grams of fat, you're going to have 900 calories versus you could have 100 grams of protein and not just is it more nutrient dense and satiating, but it's going to be only 400 calories. So knowing that the carbs are going to be less nutrient dense and the fats are going to be higher in calories, choose which one do you want, because having both of them elevated, it's going to make it A, harder for you to hit your protein target. You're not going to have the appetite for it, but B, you're going to probably gain weight and body fat especially. So choose higher protein with medium to higher fats and low carbs, or higher protein with medium to higher carbs and lower fats. What I would recommend is starting off first and foremost with hitting your protein target. Once you do that, and now you know how many calories you need to stay in the ballpark of, look at fats, because fats are going to help you optimize your hormones. A lot of times people don't realize that if your fats are too low, it's going to shut down your hormone production. So what this means for us men out here is your testosterone is not going to function as much because your hormones aren't going to be operating efficiently. So first and foremost, hit the protein and the calories, and then look at your fats. If you eat enough fats, because you're giving yourself more efficiency with your hormones, your body's going to metabolize it a lot easier, and it's going to cut out, like I said, a lot of cravings for the carbs. On the flip side, if you're eating higher protein and higher carbs, but the fats are a little bit lower, as long as they're not too low, right, then that's okay. But it's going to be a little bit more challenging to just make sure you stay in that ballpark. So now that you've optimized not just your protein, but also your fats, the calories just land where they need to land. Because again, protein plus carbs plus fats equals your overall calories. So you might have, say, 300 calories left over, and the carbs just figure themselves out. Now that we've talked nutrition in the first two important steps, you need to look at your training structure. So, like, okay, what exercises are you going to focus on? Do you have lagging muscle groups? If so, focus on those in the early half of the week when you have the most amount of available energy. What are the stronger muscles that are already, somewhat built up that you maybe don't want to prioritize a ton? Put them at the latter half when you're going to have less energy. It just makes sense. And then with your training structure, making sure you're progressively overloading. So, okay, that just means you have to add more to what you're doing every single exercise, every single week, so that your body doesn't maintain and start to plateau. Truly, there's no such thing as maintaining when it comes to building muscle. Your body is always in a catabolic or an anabolic state, which in simple terms just means your body's either building up new muscle or it's breaking down the old muscle mass. So this means you have to do more and more and more every single week to make sure that you're still getting the results you want and getting better results. So add reps or weight to each exercise every single workout. So if you're doing a bench press, you could do 135 pounds for 10 reps. The next week you do 135 pounds for 12 reps. The next week 15 reps. You can do it that way. Or another very simple way is just add weight. So 135 pounds for 10 reps. Next week you do 145 pounds for 10 reps. Next week, you do 155 pounds for 10 reps. You get the point, right? So every exercise, you want to be adding 5 to 10 pounds or just add 2 to 5 repetitions every single set, right? And this is going to be the easiest way to progress. Now that you know, okay, like we're progressing, we have nutrition dialed in, and our hormones are operating because protein and fats are on point. We have like 2 more points we're going to look at, right? Let's look at how many steps we're actually taking every single day. So if you're sedentary, if you're sitting down throughout the day, if you have, a job where maybe you're not moving on your feet a lot, then you need to know that you're actually getting enough steps in throughout the day. So I would recommend 8 to 12,000 steps as a starting point. I know it seems like a lot, but bro, it's really not. Like you could go for an hour walk and do 10 to 15,000 steps just from that alone. So you could do that 1 hour, or you could just like break it up. Okay, look, let me do a 30-minute walk, and then also, me walking to my car, me walking to the grocery store, me walking into my work. I'm probably gonna make up for it. Bro, just go on your health data on your iPhone, and it's gonna tell you how many steps you have, and just make sure you hit that 8 to 12,000 mark. And now, okay, you're doing all these things, and you're noticing like you're not seeing fat loss as quick as you'd like. Up that 1,000 steps, right? And you stay consistent with that every day. So 7 days out of the week, you're doing 10,000 steps, bro. You're doing 70,000 steps, and you're gonna burn a lot of calories from that alone. And the nice thing is, because it's low intensity, it's not gonna break down muscle tissue. See, the problem with doing all this sprints, these long distance runs, is you're putting yourself into a very high heart rate. And what that's doing is it's putting your body into fight or flight mode, which means, okay, like we're under stress by running or sprinting and getting the heart rate this elevated, which is how the body operates. So we need to cut back weight, and your body doesn't care that you have all this muscle mass, that you look jacked, that you're getting chicks. Like it just realizes that we need to deduct weight to make sure that we're safe, because truly, like we're doing more stressful activity, we're doing more cardio. This is challenging, so let's make it easier. This is how your body operates. Let's try to cut back weight, and your body's typically going to start to tap into muscle as energy and break that down, which means that you're going to be losing muscle mass. So that's important to know that, okay, do low intensity stuff instead. So if you're shooting basketball, playing basketball, shooting around, if you're playing tennis, if you're going on a walk, if you're maybe going on a hike in a low intensity pace, and it's not like super strenuous, that's the easiest way, because you're going to maintain all that muscle mass, and you're going to be still burning body fat, because when you're in that low intensity state, you're going to tap into fat stores as energy if you're eating enough calories and you're not eating too many. The last thing I want to just touch on is, we've talked about nutrition a lot, we've talked about training, we've talked about cardio. The other thing you need to keep in mind is stress. So if your stress is too elevated, your body's not going to produce near as much testosterone as it needs. And if you guys watching don't know this, the more testosterone you have, the more efficient your body is breaking down the more efficient your body is at breaking down body fat and cutting weight, the good weight that we want to lose, the body fat, when testosterone is higher. And on the flip side, if you want to build muscle mass, you want your testosterone levels optimized and as high as possible. So you have low testosterone now, if it's not optimized, just improving it slightly is going to help you get into better shape. And a lot of people think like, oh, I can't lose weight because I have low testosterone. But the thing is, bro, if you lost the weight, your testosterone would improve. So maybe it's not efficient right now, but start to work your way at that, right? Like you're slowly and gradually improving your test levels by cutting back body fat, by building more muscle mass. So it's like seesaw, right? Where like the more muscle you have and the lower fat you have, the higher your testosterone is. And the reason this ties in so much when it comes to stress production, or stress, is like hormone production, right? If your body is super stressed out, what's going to happen is your cortisol is going to go up. Cortisol is your stress hormone that tells your body like, oh no, we're in a stressful environment. Let's start to, put on body fat. That's just how our body works. Okay, like we're in all this stress, we must need some sort of energy, right? So let's gain weight, body fat, right? Now, another thing is with sleep, right? Like if you have high stress, a great way of counterbalancing that is just getting more sleep. Your body's gonna operate more efficiently and not be near as stressed. If your stress levels are too high and your sleep levels are too low, then that's also gonna factor into like why it's making it hard for you to lose fat and put on muscle. And so one thing just to wrap up on is, with the cortisol production, the higher your cortisol is, that stress hormone, your body is going to have a tough time, with testosterone, because your body is going to usually speaking, right? How it works is your body is going to use that cortisol, that stress, to either build up new muscle mass, right? Or it's going to use it to bring up body fat. And so if you can bring your cortisol levels down, bring your stress down, your testosterone naturally is just going to increase. So if you have your stress like super high, the easiest way to just get less stressed throughout the day is just sleep more, right? And also like try to find time to like meditate, bro. Try to find time to just like settle down. And it seems counterproductive because a lot of times people think with like losing weight, with putting on muscle, it's like more and more and more. But this is one of the few elements where you actually want to do less. You want to take time away from the stressful activities. And now this isn't just physical stress. This also could be mental stress. You might have a lot going on at work. You might have relational stress. You might have something really that's coming up that's making you stressed out. And if you can just somehow find a way to decrease that stress, you're going to start putting on the muscle, losing the body fat. And all five of these steps factor in because when you have better health, when you have lower body fat, you have more muscle mass, you naturally just feel better. Your body operates more efficiently, your hormones are on point, and when your hormones are optimized, then as a byproduct, it realizes like, okay, our hormones are dialed in. We don't have to produce all this cortisol and all the stress. Let's instead turn it into testosterone and increase that. So not just can you get into the best shape of your life, but you can also increase your test levels by implementing these five habits. Right, I can't speak right now clearly, but yeah. So hit your protein target, eat enough fats so that your hormones operate the best. Get enough steps, decrease stress, and get more sleep, and have a progressive training structure that's gonna vary after a few weeks, after a few months. You're starting to throw in new exercises. Those are the 5 steps to get into the best shape of your life. And if you implement those, you can start putting on muscle mass, losing fat. And this is exactly what I focus on with my clients. The other thing as a bonus is drink more water. If you drink more water, a half gallon to a gallon, ideally a gallon or more, every single day, if you do that, you're also going to decrease the amount of water retention, which means like you're going to, this is like very minor compared to the other 5 steps, but if you have more water in your body, you don't retain as much. So instead of storing all the water weight in your abdomen, in the fat cells, your body realizes like we're getting a ton of fluid every single day. So let's, urinate the rest of this hydration out, the rest of this water. Like we're in this constant cycle of getting, water all the time. We don't have to store as much. And you're going to notice like you might drop 3 to 5 pounds of body fat, especially from your midsection, just by bringing your water intake up. But like that's not going to make sense if you don't do the other 5. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you don't implement all 5 of these habits together, it's not going to work well. So implement all 5 of these habits and you can truly put on 20 to 30 pounds of muscle and lose 20 to 30 pounds of body fat within the next 90 days. Now, for those of you guys that are serious about actually implementing this, you probably realize there's 2 paths you could take. First path is you can try to figure out this all on your own. You can figure out how much protein you need, how many calories, how many grams of fat, how many grams of carbohydrates, how many steps are best for your goals, how to optimize your stress levels and decrease that, how much to sleep, what exercises to do, how to train, how to do tempo of each exercise, how to use the right technique. You can figure all this stuff out on your own. But let's be honest, and most people don't know what they're doing and they don't have an approach that's custom to their goals. And this is the exact reason that the AYIP program exists. For those of you guys that didn't put 2 and 2 together, AYIP stands for Achieve Your Ideal Physique, and that's the name of my coaching program. The reason why it's called Achieve Your Ideal Physique is because every person's ideal physique is going to truly differ. Some people want to be jacked like a bodybuilder. They want to, be 250, walking around like freaking with lats like Batman. Some people are like, I don't really care about being that jacked. I kind of want a slender, slim, toned look, but I want my V lines, I want my abs, I want the love handles gone. Some people are in a mix, right? But the nice thing is all 5 of these factors, depending on how you adjust them, are going to be able to be tailored to achieving your ideal physique. And this is why you need somebody that's going to implement these strategies into your current circumstance. You're going to probably work a different job than the other guy watching. You're probably going to weigh different than the other guy watching. You're going to have a different height. You're going to have different length of limbs. You're going to have stronger muscles that maybe for the other person are weaker. And this is why you need somebody to actually guide you along this process, because all of the information is out there. All of my YouTube videos are going to break down how to do all these things. But if you don't know how to actually implement it into your own life, given your unique situation, then you're going to probably be frustrated and realize this isn't for me. Let me just go back to do what I was doing. You're going to fall off track. And I truly don't want any of that to happen to you guys. So what can you actually do if you don't want to take that route and you want to get into the best shape of your life within the next 90 days so that this summer you can go to the beach with your shirt off, have the confidence, have the higher energy, and realize that these 5 habits literally could change the course of your life and increase your confidence, and impact every other area of your life positively. The other route you could take is you could simply just click the link below in my bio, schedule in a coaching call with me. It's completely free. This is usually for my paid clients, but I'm going to give it out away for you guys given the challenges coming up, and I want to be able to help you guys out with this, right? So click the link below to the Achieve Your Ideal Physique coaching program, and it's just going to take you to my calendar. It's going to show you all the availability I have, and you can just book in a spot, and it's going to show you a good roadmap of how to actually get there. So on this call, we'll just dive deep into where you're currently at, what your ideal physique looks like in your goal weight, and how you're trying to get there. And maybe some of you guys want to get there in less than 90 days, and we can make some solid progress within even a month. So click that link, and then I'll jump on a call with you personally, and I'll walk you through every step of the process. And at the end of the call, if we feel like, based on what we've talked about, you would be a fit to join my program and you see it working for you, which, let's be honest, it's going to work for you. You just don't know how it works. But if you feel like, okay, that's something that actually would work for me, then I can walk you through how it would look to work directly one-on-one with me. Just to give you a brief insight, we'll cover this on our call. I offer one-on-one coaching calls. I offer group coaching calls. You get access to my free school community with video modules structured from exactly start to finish achieving your ideal physique. And also you'll be in a group of guys just like yourself motivating you. It's called my inner circle group. It's going to tell you, it's going to make sure that you stay on track, because compliance is most important. If you have all the rules, the program, but you don't have the accountability, you can't stick with it, then like I said, you're not going to ever achieve the physique that you're hoping for. So you'll be in that group, and these other guys will be holding you accountable. You'll be seeing their wins, them doing their steps, them drinking their water, them hitting their macros on point, them doing their workouts. And then also, you'll be able to jump on group coaching calls with all of these guys together and ask questions, lean on them for advice, and also learn directly from me and what's working for the people inside of the program right now. The last thing I just want to touch on is, of course, you have like a training program that breaks in everything. All the exercises inside the training program are me in there demoing how to do each and every exercise. I used to work as an in-person trainer over at Equinox, and I broke down how to do literally every exercise that you'll ever need custom to your goals. So we'll select which exercises are best for your goals. We'll plug them into the app, and you'll see me in there demonstrating how to do a bench press, how to do a squat, how to do a leg extension, how to make sure that you're actually training efficiently and you're not just trying to figure it out on your own. Because again, you're going to have different length of limbs than the person next to you. You're going to have different ways of training methods that are going to be more applicable to you and your goals than the next person. So that's all going to be inside the app, and there's like a way for you to chat with me directly. It's 24/7 access. You can message me literally with any question ever. I'll give you a meal plan. I'll give you foods to eat so that when you don't want to follow the meal plan, or when you go to eat, you know how many macros to aim for, how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats. And then we can start to build out the exact roadmap to getting you to the physique that you're hoping for and put you into the best position to get into the best shape of your life this summertime. It's 2025, bro. Stop putting it off. Most people wait, and that later turns into a never. But if you're serious and you really want to take advantage of this opportunity, then just book in a call below in the link. And the last thing I just want to touch on is, what the heck was I talking about when I said a 5-day challenge? What I'm actually doing for my coaching clients and for everybody that books in the call is I'm going to be doing a 5-day challenge where we're going to break down each and every one of these steps into even more depth. So day 1 is going to be nutrition. Day 2 is going to be training. Day 3 is going to be steps, right, and cardio. Day 4 is going to be stress and how to eliminate that. And then day 5 is going to be how much water do we need and what are the best types of foods to eat given their macros. So within the 5-day challenge, the goal is by the end of the 5 days, you will be down 5 pounds. And if you're already super lean and you don't really care about body fat, you should be able to put on 5 pounds of muscle mass in those 5 days. Because not just so you're going to be able to drop a few pounds of body fat from bringing your water weight up and getting your calories dialed in your macros, but you're also going to have a strategic approach. So day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will have group coaching calls, and then everybody that's on the call will have an exact roadmap of where they need to go, what foods, what training sessions, everything under the sun that you need to get into the best shape of your life. So when you book in your call, we'll go through like what the actual 5-day challenge looks like, how to prepare, how to get the most from it. And then that's for you, whether or not you join my program or not. If you join the program, great, you're going to have a head start and be in a group of guys just like yourself. And if you don't decide it's a good fit, you can still show up to the 5-day training session. It's completely free, and you'll get the exact trainings that my current paying clients are getting. And I just want to like put it out there. Like, I don't discuss numbers typically speaking, because every plan is different. I have different programs based on what makes most sense for you. But usually speaking, my clients pay me anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to get actual real help. And I don't want that to scare you, because that's not what the challenge is going to look like. The challenge is free, but anybody that books a link here is going to have a major discount, and we're going to talk about how we can make it work for you to get into the best shape of your life. Now, if you don't have any money and you don't feel like joining a program like this would make sense, I still want you to book in a call, because you're going to be able to walk away with valuable insight in terms of what makes sense for you and what you actually need. In worst case scenario, you don't see the value of my program for some odd reason. You don't think you can commit to it. You don't think that getting into shape is something you want to do for whatever reason. Then you're still going to have access to those 5 days, and you're going to know how to hold yourself accountable on your own. Like I said, most of my clients, they just pay me to help them implement these systems in themselves. But I want you to just to leave off on this note. That investment, if you do decide to work with me, it's not for the training program. It's not for the access to the app. It's not for the coaching calls. Like, it's truly for the transformation that you will achieve. I've had people in the past where they paid less, and I gave them a free trial to my program, and they didn't take it serious. They didn't follow through, and they barely got results. And that's unfortunate. And I would love to just have you in my program for free, right? But the thing is, you're not going to take it serious, and you're not going to put your attention there and your focus and your effort if your mind doesn't also go there. So that's what you need to just like realize is nothing that's actually worth having is free. And even if you don't have money, at least figure out like how to start on your own. Maybe we work together in the future, maybe we don't, and you find somebody else to work with, or maybe you figure out the systems on your own, but at least you now know like, okay, this is a customized roadmap of what I need to do. So if you don't have money, bro, don't worry, just still book in a call, because I like helping people, and this is truly what I want to do. If you're serious about it and you say, okay, like, have some funds, and I truly want to be able to invest into my health and have that physique and the health that I've talked about, make life-changing results, then we can figure out which program makes most sense for you. And remember, there's a discount, so that 5 to 10K is going to be deducted from the massive discount I am dropping just for the next 5 days for the fitness challenge. And if you guys happen to see this after 5 days from now, booking a call. You never know. Once in a while, I do have different challenges I run, and sometimes that makes it more easy for you to be able to get results. And we can make things work with based on what you're working with, right? Like, I'm the type of person that wants to help people get change and make transformations. I don't want to just take your money, bro. Trust me, bro. I have a lot of clients. I have a lot of money coming in from the business, bro. I don't need your money. But what you need is to get into the best shape of your life. And this is the opportunity that you have to be able to actually get serious, right? For once and for all, and stop putting it off. So just click the link in the bio, and just schedule in a call. Once you do, I'll just send over a video of breaking down my exact process. And these are videos that only my clients inside the program see, because I don't want to obviously give away everything for free as much as I would love to. Like, those clients are paying me for a reason. It's valuable information, and it's sauce. Sauce, for those of you guys that don't know, it's just like inside look at like what the actual professionals are doing, right? The people that are in shape, what they're doing. And yeah, just booking a call. And if you don't want to book in a call, if you're not ready to get into shape, even if you don't want like free guidance for some odd reason, then just drop a like, maybe drop a comment, and let me know what you guys got from the video. And if you found value, I want you to drop a comment and let me know, out of the 5 variables I touched on, which one is most valuable to you and which one you're going to start implementing today. Not tomorrow, bro, today. Because the longer you put these things off, the longer you're going to stay stuck. And like I said at the early half of the beginning of the video, later always turns into a never. People say when the summer starts, I'm going to get into shape, right? And then the summer passes and they say, okay, I didn't get into shape in the summertime, so fall comes up and let me just get into shape then. And people say like, okay, like winter's coming up, let me do it then. And then January 1st, and it's like this constant cycle, bro. And I talk to guys all the time that stay stuck for years, bro. I talked to a guy last night. He's 387 pounds. I'm not going to drop his name, obviously, but he's 387 pounds, and his best friend just passed away from all these health concerns, and he like doesn't want to take action. Like, why is that? It's because people are scared and they don't know what to do, and they don't even know it's possible. You just need to realize that like these habits will literally change the course of your life. And you don't have to believe me, but like if you just book in a call, like we can figure out like how to actually implement them. It's not that you're lazy, you're just stuck and you're in fear mode and you don't know if it's even capable of working for you. But how will you know if you never try? How do you know if the water's hot or cold until you put your finger in? You don't, bro. You have to try something. And if you don't want to try, bro, then just get the heck out of here. But odds are, if you're watching this video, you want to get into the best shape of your life. Just book in a link below. Book in the link below, a call, I should say, on the link below. And Instagram is JStratFit. You can check me out there. We dive in deep. You could just like message me and say, hey, I came from YouTube and I want to join the challenge. But the easiest way is just booking a call directly into my calendar. And I'll talk with you guys real soon. Make sure that you don't put off your health any longer because you're going to regret it. Your kids are going to regret it. You're not going to be the role model or the leader that you want to be. All the people I speak with say that they want to lead their families. They want to have, a better sex life. They want to, be the person that their wife married. They want to lose the weight. They want to put on the muscle. But the thing is, most people's words don't actually align with their actions. They have these intentions and these goals of doing things. But what happens is they don't actually put in the work and they don't get the help they need and they stay stuck in the exact same fucking spot, bro. So don't let that be you. Do not let that be you, bro. You're better than that. You're worth more. Just click the link below, bro, and get ready to change your fucking life, bro. Excuse my French. I'll see you real soon.